Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. This is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard to Starship Normal Prize for another episode of SimCity 3000, which we are playing with mods. And I have actually adjusted the mod a little bit in between episodes, so I'll talk a little bit about that. But one of the things I'm going to talk about is I do have a lot of this stuff off in sounds for the game, partially because we could probably have ambient sounds on, actually. Ambient sounds aren't too bad. They get annoying, we'll turn them off. But I have sound effects off because of how I play the game. I constantly click on all the stuff, and it'll play the same like looping sound over and over and over again. So it'll get very, very annoying. I have music off in game, and this is partially just because of the fact I'm playing in a VM. And when you have music on, it has to boot up the CD-ROM and to find the track, so I have the music in post, and it'd just be easier for all that to work. So yeah, but let's get back to our city. We have 4,232 population. Oh yeah, and what I've adjusted is I gave I gave industry and commercial a lot more supply, so there's a lot less stuff you have to do to keep your demand up. I believe I set their supply from, I think it's initially at 20,000 to 100,000, or I might even set it to 1 million. I set it to a very high value. And then same thing with commercial. I did the same thing with that. Because one of my test cities I'm doing, I'm getting to the point to where there's like no industry demand and I can't grow. So I just ended up going into the files and just adjusting that all the way up. Besides, that shouldn't really be a limitation. Limitation for like industry and commercial should be like if your residential demand isn't high enough of where it's supposed to be, then you can't like produce jobs because you don't have any people wanting to move into your city. So yeah, that's what I did. And I can't wait till we get to 5,000 population so I can show off the neighborhood deals. I've been messing around more with that too, and it's actually really, really cool. I love how the neighbor deals have come out. Anyways, if we check our budget, we have $162 that we're paying for our roads, which is our only expense at the moment, and we're making $546 at the end of the year, which is really, really good. Once we get up neighborhood deals, then we might start adding like public health or education in. Probably public health, because healthcare seems to help the city a lot more than education. So anyways, let us continue, because right now we only have a really high industry demand, so we might have to expand industry. We have a couple areas around here that are developing. Okay, there we go. I was like, why isn't my thing popping up? And we don't have a commercial demand. We have a slight residential demand, but residential is expanding currently. So I believe the correct play would be to expand industry. So let's go here. Probably keep it around the same size. So that will probably work pretty good. Oh, and I did adjust the scroll speed. I found a way to actually do that in the coding. I think it starts out at like 1,500 pixels per second. And I set it down to 100 pixels per second, which now I can actually use it, but I need to reduce it down to like 50, maybe even lower. And if you guys are wondering like why it is set so high, because remember that back in the day, computers weren't that powerful when this game came out. This came out like 2000 or something. So they just set everything up to a really high value because your PC would max out faster than the amount of processing the game wanted to do. And well, that's no longer the case nowadays. So we actually have to set it to a value where it limits itself. But anyways, industry is now developed. Our industry has been down. We don't have a high enough commercial demand to really worry about commercial, and residential is developing. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. And I think we got all of this in the last episode. Yeah, we did. So we just have these three right here to do. And then we have some of the industry down here to grab. Noise. Crime level skyrockets. How bad is crime right now? 18? Okay, it's getting there. It is getting there. I believe I also adjusted the triggers for like crime and everything as well. Like I think medium level, which is where it is right now. Actually, no, it's set to high. My bad. High, I believe, is supposed to be. It's supposed to be something. I've adjusted like the crime level triggers and the pollution level triggers in the coding. So yeah, I don't remember what they're set to. Eventually, I need to learn when I mod games to actually write things down. I'm really bad at doing that. Alright, we got some industry developing down here. Let's make sure they make historical so they don't redevelop. Yep, there we go. Get a little bit more developing as well. Burr, 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 burr. Ooh, and these three are finally starting to develop. Nice. I cannot wait until our money reaches 0 so we start taking out loans, because I've adjusted how the loans and whatnot work, and I cannot wait to explain that. In my my current city that I'm kind of just playing on my own, I reached 44,000 population, and the city is a little bit over $100,000 in debt. But since I adjusted the loans to where they act more like actual bonds, like they're 30-year loans that have to be paid off, the payment for them is like really, really low. So even though the town is like severely in debt, they're gonna be in debt for a long time, but they can actually afford it because the payments aren't like ridiculously high. So you don't go like $20,000 in debt and now you no longer can't afford anything because you're paying like $5,000 for all that per year. Burr, 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 burr. And it is the end of the month. Alright, we are at 4,508 population. Not bad. We don't really have a residential demand right now because we have a lot of unemployment. Oh my. Let's see where we currently are at. I believe, if I remember, we're still 70 when it comes to how many we're supposed to have for industry. And we are 65% of the workforce. So that'd be 70 times 65%, which is 45.5, which we will just round. Well, we could probably do 45.5. That's fine. And we have 4,508 times that by 0. 455. So 2,051 is where we're supposed to be. I think we're at like 1,900. We're almost there. We're actually not that bad, but we are like 120 off. So yeah. And then for commercial, 293, we're 432. Yeah, we're perfectly fine on commercial, but we need more industry, which is going to be developing. So because of that, since we have a high unemployment, we're just gonna let industry develop this round. How did our budget adjust? We're at 560? Okay, it's looking good. All right, there's nothing to do this month. We could check our stuff real quick. We're 977 on our oil power plant, perfectly fine. 2% on our landfill, perfectly fine. And water, we're at 1,320. Really, really good. All right, here we go. Lots of development going on. That's what I like to see. All of these vacant lots coming online and grass lots coming online. And Barrel of Fun motor oil recycling centers coming online. I always love the names of these like buildings in these SimCity games. Sorry, Aurora dips lower. City Soul could use a lift. Could also lose a lift too, I guess. Have a nice day, club. Our townsfolk are just suffering, are just shuffling along, heads down and hearts low. Even the air in the city seems stale and used. Where have the good times gone? We've taken a good hard look at Merlopatia's aurora, and it's so low it hardly registers. We need to find some ways to liven up the town. Give the city some spirit before all the Sims turn into spirits. And as always, have a nice day. Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it, but unfortunately, we can't afford to put parks and stuff everywhere for the city. Maybe one day the city will actually look good. How is our I mean, right now it's also really, really low because we were like by industry and by pollution. So as the residentials like expand further out this way, where all the trees and whatnot are, they'll feel a lot better. But right now, our city is really too small to really worry about stuff like that. It is too small, indeed. We are missing one area, which is this one right here. There we go. Speed her up a little bit. Since we're just waiting for this area to develop. Here we go. 2 more areas. And that can develop this month, it looks like. Okay. And it is now August. Fantastic, and our demands have kind of balanced out a little bit. We now have a small residential demand. Industry demand is still our highest, and commercial demand doesn't really exist. But we're at 4,623 population now. Fantastic. Love to see it. How much industry did we actually get from that? For 2014, I think we needed like 2070, so we're looking a lot better. And unemployment, one of the things I've learned from this game is unemployment always registers the previous month and not the current month. It takes a month for it to go all the way through. So that is a reading from last month, which just kind of explains why we didn't really have any residential demand because we had 11% unemployment rate. This month, it should drop by a decent amount because we're only focusing on creating more jobs. And again, I don't think we're going to do any type of expansion. We could expand residential, but let's wait one more month. Let's get more jobs available before we expand again. So this month, whoop, I didn't mean to go that fast. It should be super easy. And we only have 2 spots to keep an eye on. And pretty soon we're getting close to finishing up our first year in the game. I don't know why SimCity 3000 is one of my favorite city building games. I mean, nowadays we have City Skylines. City Skylines 2 just recently came out, which I played some, but for some reason I always go back to SimCity 3000 and SimCity 4. Those are the 2 ones that I played a lot as a kid. This is the one that introduced me into like these type of games where you're just building a city. And I don't know, I just really love them. And I also really love the music of this one too. Put a lot of care and soul into this one. Alright, it is the new month. It is September. This industry area is still being developed, but our residential is kind of matching our industry demand now. Let's see where we're at. We dropped down to 8. Again, this is a reading from last month, not this month. So our reading from 2 months ago went from 11% to last month, which is 8%. So we are dropping to closer to 3 to 5%, which is where I usually like to keep my unemployments. We're at 2,260 industry jobs, so we're looking really good there. So we might as well go ahead and expand. This one's probably going to expand kind of rapidly because we already have power lines here, so some of this area already has power. But a lot of the industry area here should be developing a lot this month. So let's go ahead and take care of this. So let's get these power lines out of our way. And let's go ahead and level everything out. Are we already leveled? Oh, we are. Nice. That is good to see. Oh, there's one more power line right there that needs to go. There we go. And hook those together. Just some residential. Make sure it has water, which it does. All right. Let's do a quick check of all of our power plants and stuff. Power demand is going up pretty rapidly because industry requires a lot of power to run. So we're up to over 1,000. Still perfectly fine. We have a lot of capacity left still. Pumping stations are at 1,392. Doing fantastic. Okay. And I think everything else is doing good. So let's continue. We only have to pay attention to residential because industry is already all done. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. All right. Let's grab these guys. Make all of them historical. Bark, 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 bark. Lots of dog barking going on. Speaking of which, I don't know which one of my videos I said this, but our dog, Sherlock, was howling this last week. And I thought it was because we had a couple female golden retrievers move into our neighbor's barn, and I thought he was howling because he's seen them and then had a dream about them and wanted to make baby Sherlocks with them. But no, it turns out we had one of these devices we were using to try to keep gophers out of our yard, and it turns out the frequency that it was using to scare away the gophers was also hurting our dog's ears, so he was howling because of that. So I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I thought he was in love, but no, he was just really in pain. It's like, poor doggy. So we got all that going. We can get more developed. I don't think so. How's industry doing? Good, and we do have all those marked. I always have to double check because sometimes it's hard to tell. We might break 5,000 this month. That would be fantastic if we could. Burp, 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 burp. Burp, 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 burp. Oh, we got more. And more houses and more lawns to make historical. Like that open lawn, it's so good, we're gonna make it historical. Okay. Oop, I went a little bit too fast. Okay, so it is now the 10th month. Fantastic. And we broke 5,000 population. We're at 5,060. Great to see. And our industry and residential demand are still kind of the same. Industry is still a little bit higher because the residential area kind of developed a little bit quicker than the industry area. How are we doing? We only have a handful of industries left that need to develop. So we may have to expand industry again to keep up. But yay, we are up to 5,000, and I don't know if it's this month, but maybe next month that we should be able to get our first neighbor deal. And then once we establish our first neighbor deal, which will be garbage, we can hook a power line to our neighbor, which will allow us to trade power with them, and then we can hook a water line to them as well, which will allow us to trade water with them. And like I said, I kind of adjusted it, and I'll explain a little bit more once we actually start getting the neighbor deals. but let's see. We may go ahead and just expand more industry. I mean, we have a decent demand. Industry is about the same as residential right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and make another industry expansion. Make sure it's watered, which it is. Fantastic. Light industrial, and boom. We're getting low on money. We're down to 12,000. But we're supposed to get like 606 by the end of the year. That's actually a big bump. We're making $180 in 2 months. 3 months. So we can actually figure that out. 180 times 4, 720. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's what would be projected for next year. So have to keep that in mind. Okay. Let's go ahead and resume. Oh, and how much are we spending on roads? It's going up a decent amount. This is probably gonna be like 200, 250 next year. Roads are expensive in my mod, and I love it. Okay, so we got more developing down here. Let's get all those going. Burp, 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 burp. Here we go. So we got a little bit more that needs to be developed. We got nothing being developed over here yet. Here we go. Grab some of these. All right. Lack of schools blamed for spelling crisis. Well, we only have 5,000 population, so we have to deal with it. Ooh, deal with Marindale would put more cash and trash at our disposal. Oh yeah, can we? Oh yeah, we can rename those cities. Okay. I will have to do that. Alright, Marindale. What do you want from me? Request garbage deal. Mayor Captain Soban, wouldn't it be nice to find extra funds deposited in your treasury each month? I propose a deal. I'd like you to dispose of Marindale's excess trash each month and offer to pay you $8 for the service. We need you to dispose of about 100 tons a month, though this amount and the amount we pay you may rise as our city grows. Basically, as time goes on and the larger their city and your city gets, eventually that deal will refresh and you'll have to process more garbage for more money. Beware that if you terminate this deal without our mutual consent, you'll be charged a penalty of $200. So as I said, very, very cheap. How much garbage are we even processing right now? I know it's not much. And we haven't even finished up the year yet. So this would be 2,769, which would be divided by 10. And this is an estimate because the way this works, since this is annually, it keeps putting the number in every month, and then at the end of the year, it'll take it a month out. Basically, the way to explain that is it keeps a log of the last 12 months of transactions that have gone through for like garbage and whatnot, and then the next month it'll take the last one that was off. So like for instance, once the year goes over and we get the second month of 1902, it'll take the first month of 1901 off. So yeah, actually we are we're still in the first year. We haven't even finished up the first year yet. So 276 is what we're currently averaging, and they want to give us 100 more. So that would be 276. I think I did this wrong. Yep, I did that wrong. My bad. It's 100 divided by 276. That would be 36% more garbage that we have to process. I mean, I'm perfectly fine by that because we are only processing 3% of the garbage of our capacity anyways. So yeah. Marindale, which I'm going to be changing your name probably at the end of this episode. I accept your deal. Yay! And now we are making 24 bucks because it's almost the end of the year. But that would add an extra $96 to our budget, which again isn't much, but it's still enough to kind of make a difference if you really need it, especially when the city gets really, really big. So again, I love the fact that garbage is like not like super powerful or super like OP when it comes to the amount of income and whatnot. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and make a connection to our neighbor, and I think I'm gonna put it like here. There we go. And we'll probably expand garbage like around here or something. Or I might change that to like somewhere else. We'll see. We'll see what I want to do. And then next month, we will deal with that. Alright. So now it's time to continue expanding our city. In our never-ending quest of making the largest city possible. Woohoo! Ooh, we have a new home as well. Fantastic. Bowlers bet mayor will okay gambling ordinance. We don't really need that much money in the city. That's one thing I haven't really taken a look at is the ordinances and like how much they cost and stuff like that. I'm kind of waiting for my main city to get bigger before I start actually messing around with that stuff. Like I know about the triggers and all that, but I don't know about like how they affect the city. Like I know like a small amount of how they affect the city. I kind of want to make them a little bit more extreme, I guess. So the ordinance isn't just like, okay, I want to make my city good, let's just activate every single ordinance. No, I kind of want to make it to where they're a little bit more expensive and where they actually like mean things, where you don't want to have like every single one on unless you really do want to try to make the perfect city. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I want to mess around in this game. SimCity is a lot of fun. It's a fun game. It is a fun game. Don't forget to pick up your litter. Anyone reading this, don't forget to pick up your litter. Especially your cat litter. You want to keep your cats happy. And it is now November. Alright, we're 5,500 population. We don't have much of a residential demand anymore because industry didn't expand as much as I was expecting. Residential has kind of been blowing up right now, which is good. So we have a high industry demand, very little commercial still, and very little residential. Fantastic. And our landfill hasn't really adjusted yet. And landfill will take a long time to fill up. I think it has like, it can hold like a year supply or a couple years supply worth of garbage. I do know it has a decay rate that keeps itself balanced. I don't really know all those calculations on top of my head. Alright, how are we doing on power? 1,100, great. Garbage is doing great. And water is doing great. We're only using 1,400. Fantastic. Alright, and right now we're waiting for industry. We need more industry to grow. So, let's go ahead and just continue. Continue on down the road towards a better life and a better Walmart. There we go. Ooh. Maritime proposes power deal. Sparks mayor's interest. Okay. So this is the second type of power deal or deal you can do, which is power. Now, in the past, SimCity 3000's power and water deals were never worth it because they would require so much power that you couldn't keep up. You would literally have like maybe 1 or 2 power plants running your city and like 4 or 5 running the neighborhood city. So it made absolutely no sense to me. So I've made some adjustments and it works a lot more like garbage now, which is fantastic. So you probably heard about the unprecedented growth in Martindale. It seems like we've become a burgeoning metropolis overnight, but now we need more power, and I'm hoping you can still sell to us. You will sell to us. I'm ready to make a deal immediately if you agree to these terms. Each month, Marydale will buy 200 megawatts of power. Now, previously, this would be up in increments of 1,000. I found a way to adjust it to where it's in increments of 100 from you, and we'll pay you $2 a month. Since we are counting on you to supply us with power, if you terminate the deal without any consent, you'll be charged a penalty of $50. Do we have a deal? So very, very simple, very easy. Now 200 is like nothing. Right now our city currently demands 1,100, so adding 200 to that would be 1,300. Much, much, much easier to manage. So let's go ahead and go to power deal 200 for 2 months. Let's go ahead and accept that, and they'll give us $24 more per year. Again, a very, very small amount, but it won't hamper the power supply that you're currently supplying for your own city, and it's like another easy way to make some very cheap money. So now let's go ahead and connect water, so next month we can get that going too. Because I did the same thing with water, made it like really cheap, so it's easy to keep that going and not have to worry about overwhelming your water supply, especially since water pumps and stuff like that produce more water, so you don't need like thousands of them around, especially when your city gets bigger. Okay, so we have very little residential demand, so I'm not going to worry about that. Commercial demand is still basically minimum, so not worrying about that either. We just have to grow industry, so let's get that going. I cannot wait to see how well this mod works when the city gets really, really big. I will still continue making adjustments by when I gather data from this playthrough and from my own personal playthrough. I am very excited. I'm so happy I know how to mod some of the old games I used to play all the time. It's so cool. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Get you going. Get you going. Alright, now we got everything except for that one there, I believe. Or when it comes to development. And I don't think it's going to develop this month. Alright, cool. Population grow up a little bit more. We're at 5,773. Fantastic. The residential area is basically developed. We still don't have a residential demand, so I'm not really going to expand them yet. We have to wait for the industry to develop more. Power is now up to 1,453 with the neighborhood deals, so still well below capacity. And water and everything is doing very well. Fantastic. And again, we don't really need to expand. Let's check our data real quick, see how we're doing. We're an unemployment level of 12. We need more industry. Like, how badly do we need industry right now? Let's see. Are we still at 65%? Yes, we are. So this would be 5,703 divided by 0.455. Nope, that is not. Nope, nope, that's not what I needed. I needed to multiply by that number. 2,626. And we're at 2,577. So we're actually not that far away from where we're supposed to be. Okay, good to know. But we definitely need more industry. That is our demand right now. And we only have one area that needs to be developed, so we'll just let it keep going. We'll just let it keep going now, bro. A certain something in the air. Pollution, moderate. Still too much. Really? Okay. Should we sell our water to Mariondale? I suppose you heard that the water problems in Mariondale. My Sims are unhappy, and with the strict water conservation program, they're only supposed to flush every 4 uses. So they're after me to find another source of water. I'm hoping that source is Merlopatia. I can offer to pay you $3 if you supply us with 300 cubic meters of water monthly. And again, I adjusted this so it's not in the thousands anymore. Since we so desperately need this water, if you terminate the deal without our consent, we will charge you a penalty of $75. Let me see, 300. Currently use 1,500, so 300 is like, that's a small percentage, like 20%. I think we can handle that. And it's another extra $3 a month, which would be $36 a year. Yeah, we can handle that. I'll control your water. And now we have all 3 of the neighborhood deals coming from that one. So we're getting 8 per month from garbage, 2 per month from water, or from power, and then 3 per month from water. Indeed. Eventually those will balance out as the city gets bigger, but the first one is usually where garbage is a lot, because just how garbage works. I might try to see if I can actually reduce that down to 10 instead of 100. So it'd be like 50 garbage or 50 tons. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm still adjusting like some of the neighborhood deal stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and finish up the year and get to 1902. Another thing I've adjusted is bus stops and subways. Subways aren't available till like 1920. Bus stops aren't available till 1910. I always felt it weird that subways were available first before bus stops. I'd always thought that it would be the opposite of that. So just a little bit of just some adjustments of how I think the game should be ran. Industry is just really having a hard time developing. They're getting unlucky on the rolls of how much they need to go to actually get the stuff done. But we made it through our first year. Fantastic. We are making $156 from our 3 neighborhood deals. Again, not much, but it's more than we're making on commercial, and it is a little bit of a dent from when it comes from the rest of our stuff. This should be about 15 to 20% of your budget, I would assume, depending on how big, like somewhere between 10 to 20% of your budget if you keep taxes at 7%. So yeah, I like how much money we actually make from neighborhood deals. Business deals I actually want to mess around with more. They should give you a lot more money, especially with my mod. But yeah, we pay $204 for roads, so we're making $996 per year. We have enough to afford a hospital, which is going to be the first thing I put down. It's usually a hospital and then school, then an actual school, and then probably maybe police, and then another school. it kind of definitely changes. I never really put down fires because there's no reason to put down fires. It does help with auroras, which helps with land value, but I usually play with natural disasters off, so I never have to worry too much about that. And mass transit I've also changed a little bit too, and I'll get around that when we actually get to the city gets large enough to the point where we actually have to mess with that. Let's go ahead and pause, and we want to put our hospital down, which I think I'm going to put it down here. Yeah, I think we're going to put it like right there. I think that would be nice. So hospital and hospitals and whatnot are more expensive, so you do have to be careful when you decide to actually put them down because they're going to cost more money. Let's go ahead and put it there. And we have 331 patients. And I believe I've increased the hospitals to have more doctors, which means the hospitals provide more jobs and they have more beds. This is because I wanted to balance it out to where the hospitals, you only need like one for every 30,000 population instead of like 20 or 25. They're also more expensive too. They're $60 a month instead of 50. So yeah, that puts our budget to a surplus of 276. We still have a decent surplus. So even with the new hospital down. Fantastic. And with the hospital, we also have new jobs. So, what I want to do is go ahead and make a new residential area. I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be too bad. Now, this residential area is probably going to be a little bit on the rich side, partially because I'm going to put like a bunch of parks and whatnot around here surrounding the hospital. Boop, 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 boop. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Fantastic. And I kind of want to surround it in parks. So residential is just going to be this tiny area here. And normally when I do parks, I'll do like one every month. That way I put the expenses and everything like not all at once. And parks I've also adjusted a little bit too. I made it to where the normal parks can help clean up the air a little bit more. It's not like huge or anything, but if you put like a bunch of parks in a small area, you'll probably notice that the air there is much cleaner than it would be like in further areas in the city. And water parks like the fountain and pond will help reduce water pollution, which when your city gets really big will help reduce the impact on water treatment plants. And also keep people happy because they're like, hey, water is actually really good here. So yeah, let's see, at the moment, no, not a large park. I want a pond, I think, or playground. Playground would be nice. Did I not adjust playgrounds? I think I did. I've adjusted the prices on all of the parks and whatnot. Like for instance, the pond is a little bit more expensive at $6.50. Fountain's a little bit more expensive. Okay. Playground. Alright, so we have a little playground and we'll probably build like a pond here and then put a few parks behind it. I want to like decorate our all of our not expenses, but government stuff to make it look prettier. I've never done that before when I play this game, so I'm doing that to try and like do something new. Okay, we got our residential down. Do we have water here? We do not. I kind of thought we didn't. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And industry is still being developed down here. We've expanded residential, but it's a small expansion, so it shouldn't be much. Oh god! Oh god! Didn't realize I was still on llama speed. My bad. I thought I was still on the like low speed. Oh, and when it comes to like schools and hospitals and all that, I've also adjusted it to where how far down their budget can go before they decide to start striking. I think I adjusted down to 60% compared to 70%, and this also affects overcrowding too. So as the building gets overcrowded, it gets more and more less efficient. And so as long as that efficiency stays within a certain threshold, they won't strike and complain that, hey, we need more of these because there's way too many students and whatnot in these schools. So, yeah, I'm still experimenting to see how far that can actually go. I've gone to, I think, 110% overcrowded, and it still worked perfectly fine. I think it was just giving me like a B grade. I was like, wow, people are actually still working well in the school, even though it is like, even though the school has like 3,300 people in it when it's supposed to have 3,000. Like, huh, almost like real life. I went to high school in an overcrowded school where we definitely did not have enough teachers and whatnot to handle everything that was there. I think I had over 2,000 students in just our 4 grades for high school, and yeah, we did not have the people to man all that. The hallways were way too crowded. They even had an expansion when I was there where we built a 3rd wing to try to help with the overcrowdedness, and it still didn't help. It was still quite crowded. Burp, 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 burp. Burp, 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 burp. Swamp gas verified to be exhalations of movie stars long past. Okay. Those are definitely words I just read out of my mouthful. Ooh, that one finally developed. Nice. That one, and a couple of these are still taking a while. They seem to be developing now. Boo boo ch do ch do 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 do. Oh wait, right. I'm supposed to be making you guys all historical. Here we go. Got 2 more to go. Which I don't think are going to be done this month. Nope, they did. Fantastic. Girl rides bicycle across city phone wires. Arrested for eavesdropping. Yep, that'll do it. Don't ride your bicycle across some phone wires, or people will think you're like listening to them. Just all makes perfect logical sense in my head. Anyways, we now have 5,911 population. We are just shy of 6,000. And we have 339 patients currently using the hospital, and we have 2,100 system-wide, so we're like at 15%. Don't have to worry about that for quite some time. How are we doing on power? 1,657, fantastic. 3% on the landfill. And water, we are at 1,918. Everything is looking very hunky-dory. We have about a little bit higher demand on industry than we have residential. We still don't have a commercial demand. Even with this expansion, so that's amazing. We may eventually make a commercial spot, but until we break one of the population thresholds, which I think the first one is 15,000 that I looked at. Once we get to 15,000, industry demand will reduce from 70% of the workforce to 68%, and commercial will increase from 10% of the workforce to 12%. So Yeah, commercial is just going to be very low until we reach that point. Still got a little bit of industry development going on, so we'll let that go in one more month. Got some residential development going on over here. I want to make a new park, which we're gonna do. I think it's the large park. No, not the large park. Large park's way too big. Pond. There we go. 650 bucks. And we now have a pond by our hospital. This will help soak up some of the pollution, which I don't think we really have much. We do have a slight amount of water pollution. Okay. So it'll soak up some of the water pollution and improve the land value because it makes people happy when they're around parks. And when it comes to expansion, we're not expanding commercial yet. We don't really have a demand for it. Industry is looking good. We do have a couple more areas that need to develop, so we're not going to expand them. But residential is kind of where it needs to be. So we'll let the game keep going. Do. Mediums agree. Blue striped socks no more lucky than clovers or pennies. Interesting. Very interesting. Healthcare best in region. Foreign sims flock to Merlopatia for treatment. Sweet. Great work, Mayor Captain Sylvan. Our hospitals and media centers are the envy of the region. You should do everything in your power to maintain this achievement. Recommend against any reduction in the budget. Doctors expect a certain level of fashion. How can we deny their designer scrubs? And patients are uninspired by the recorded music in the waiting room. Finally, we have the money to bring in live bands. Oh my. Okay. So we are that kind of hospital where we hire high live bands to play for people. Which honestly is something that hospitals really should do. Waiting music is just so freaking boring. They should hire like YouTubers that are like, you know, trying to make it and trying to just do very simple gigs just to play in the waiting room. That would be like amazing. I don't know how popular you would get. You would probably get a crowd, but it probably wouldn't be the crowd that people are looking for. So who knows? You're just developing. The other side is kind of just developing as well. But we should definitely break 6,000 population after this, which would be great. Here we go. 6,210. Fantastic. We finally have a commercial demand. Cool. Or at least the demand got high enough to where it's starting to actually show on the bar. So that is great to see. And we have a pretty high industry demand too. Things are looking pretty darn good. Let's see where we are on our current demands. So for industry, 6,210 times 45.5%, which is 2,825. We're actually looking pretty good. We're at 2,964. All right. Still need more, but it's weird how it's higher than what my projected of it to be. And then for commercial, oops. 403. Yeah, we're still actually higher than we're supposed to be. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. But we don't have a residential demand, we have a commercial and an industry demand. Oh god. VM system kind of going a little crazy right now. I guess we could do it right here. This is a huge commercial zone for what we currently have. But this will keep our commercial occupied for quite some time. So there we go. And industry. I guess we could expand industry here. Go about there. That should be fine. Boop, 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 boop. Industry. Here we go. We have an industry spot. We have a commercial spot. We don't have a residential demand, so I'm not going to expand residential this month. But we'll definitely do it next month. We're at 1,682 on our power, 4% on our landfill, 2,078 on our water. All right. Let's do one more month before we end this episode, because these shouldn't expand too much. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And all these small little commercial businesses going. Okay. It's just about as far as it can actually expand. Alright, now we just have to focus on industry. No! Oh. I thought that was watered. Like it should be watered. Last I checked. It should have all of the waters. And I think that's about all the industry can expand, because I don't think it can expand up here. Nope. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and put a small park in there. There we go. And we'll do fountain and park there. Anyway, everything is alternating. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, it is now April. We're at 6,256 population. Residential demand has gone up a little bit. Commercial demand has dropped. This is probably, like I said, this is a big zone for commercial at this early in the game. Industry still has a pretty high demand, but let's go ahead and check everything. We made some pretty good progress on the city today. We're at 1,711 power being used, 4% on our garbage being used, and water's at 2,124 out of 7,500. Still got plenty. Still don't really have to worry too much about it. And when it comes to our data, we have 3,002 industry and 432 commercial. This is looking really good. We have an unemployment level of 10 though. Unemployment is definitely up there. So we need a lot more industry to keep that under control, but we have a high industry demand, so we can definitely do that. But yeah, city's coming along. We built the hospital, we expanded more. We have some parks and whatnot that we're surrounding the hospital with, which I will go ahead and finish that up real quick so that I don't have to worry about it. Let's see, I want fountain, and then I want normal park. There we go. Because if I don't do that right now, I'm never going to actually get that done. So now the hospital is surrounded by parks, which is going to help improve the land value of this area and help keep air and water pollution down. What is our hospital at right now? 360 at 2,100. So this used to be 1,500, by the way. I boosted it up to 2,100. So yeah. Really, really fun. I really do love SimCity 3000 and hope you guys enjoy the journey as the city slowly grows into a small country town to a big bustling metropolis. I wish there was working mods to make the city even larger. I think there's been some testing done in the past of people trying to get it to work, but it was never stable and just didn't work the way it's supposed to. Maybe one day we'll be able to build cities up to 10, 20, or 50 million population in SimCity 3000. Right now we're limited to 1 to 2 million, I think, because that's basically when you take over the entire map. But it would be amazing. That would be an amazing thing to see. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. If you did, please leave a like. If you like what I do, consider subscribing, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Until then, this is Captain Soban signing out.